culture. Classic pop culture.
Hi everybody, this is Steve Ludwig, host of Steve Ludwig's Classic Pop Culture and the Beatles Hour with Steve Ludwig at planetludwig.com. Here's an interview we did with Australia's top singer-songwriter Joe Mandica. The show was broadcast on March 20th, 2017. Show number 119. If you'd like to hear the entire show, just go to planetludwig.com and you'll find it in the menu. And now, please enjoy the interview. And really, Mousetrap Cafe in Amityville, New York, if you're ever in the area, you have got to go to this club. It is a superb club. It really is. So great. Great music venue. Just aren't enough live music clubs around. Well, that night, also performing at the club was Joe Mandica, friend of the show. Joe and Morella were visiting the U.S. because they had some. Joe was going to finish up an album on the West Coast, which he's going to tell us about. I recorded that interview with him. We actually went outside the club to get some quiet, but it was a windy night and cars were going back and forth. But you can hear the interview perfectly. But that's what the background noise is. So, Joe Mandica. He's been on the show, like I said, maybe 5 or 6 times. A killer CD by Joe Mandica and The Initiative. Joe spoke about that CD, that album of his, many times on the show. Well, I'm going to lead into the interview with Joe Mandica. We spoke for about 4 or 5 minutes because Joe's going to come back on the show with Stephanie Angelini, the vocalist from his upcoming album. But anyway, you'll learn all about it in the interview, but I'm going to lead off with a song called Like You Do from the Initiative album, and I'm sure Joe is thinking to himself, Steve, can't you play any other song from that album except Like You Do? I love the whole album, and Like You Do is just a standout to me. They're all standouts, but here is Like You Do from the Initiative album, Joe Mandica, and then we'll hear from Joe. As promised, we have with us a friend of the show, magnificent musician, songwriter, player, Joe Mandica returns. He has a very special event coming up, a very special musical project. We're here on the East Coast of the U.S. We're in Amityville, Long Island. I promised Joe we would stay away from the Amityville Horror House. But we're here at the Mousetrap Cafe. Joe is going to be playing a set in a few minutes. I dragged him outside because you're headed to the West Coast, Joe, after you're here. And please tell us what's going on.
Well, we're heading to the West Coast to finish a project we started 2 years ago with Preston Glass, famed music producer and writer. A project that I co-wrote 10 songs with him. And unfortunately has been sitting dormant for the last 2 years. We're resuming the project with a dynamic young vocalist from Melbourne, Australia. Her name is Stephanie Angelini, and we're going to be meeting with her in Los Angeles. And one of the first things we're doing is attending a CD listening party for an album which Preston is releasing called Dynamic Duets with some people like Frida Payne and George Benson and several other great music names. And we're invited as guests, and we'll also be performing a couple of tunes, one from the upcoming album and an old Beatle classic as well. Following that, we'll be recording for 5 days in the studio to finish this album, finally, which we're so excited about. And Steve, you've heard some of the tracks.
Joe, you have shared some of the... You said they're demos, but boy, they sound release ready to me. And if this is any indication of what we can expect, boy, these are tremendous songs, and you have found a wonderful singer in Stephanie. Where'd you meet up with her?
With Stephanie, through a friend of a friend of a friend.
As is often the case.
Yeah,
right?
A friend of my sister's, who she's known for a lifetime, slipped a little piece of paper with a phone number to say, give this phone number to Joe. We heard this young girl sing at our club on the weekend, and she's terrific.
And this is in Australia? In
Australia, yeah. And at that time, I didn't need a vocalist. I wasn't thinking. I said, okay, thank you. And I just put the number away. And I tried to contact her the year before last to book her for our New Year's Eve function we do every year, and she was already booked. So I couldn't get her. So basically, I had to wait nearly till the end of the following year, this being last year, and I thought I'd try again, and I booked her for a couple of dates, and I thought she had lovely style, and we worked together New Year's Eve, and the following day after New Year's Eve, I just kept thinking to myself, because with this project, being there for 2 years, it basically was sitting there, I guess, abandoned, and we hadn't really I didn't really want to pursue it unless I found the right voice. And overnight, from New Year's Eve 2016 to the 1st of January 2017, it hit me. I thought, I think she might have the voice. Mm-hmm. So I quickly met up with her, and basically she's had 7 weeks or so to learn 10 songs, make those songs her own, put her own feeling into them, and she's done remarkably well. So we're very excited.
Joe, I'm going to hold, right now we're recording this, I'm going to hold you to it. When the album is out and ready to go, will you and Stephanie come back on the show, and we'll have a CD listening party?
It will be our honour, Steve. Thank you for asking us. And Stephanie, just as a quick note, I said, I think maybe if we're lucky, we might be able to get onto Steve's radio show in New York. And she said to me, do we have to go to New York? Not quite, I said. We'll be doing it via Skype.
Right, exactly. Well, as I said, we're from the Mousetrap Cafe in Amityville, Long Island. There are not cars in the cafe. You'll hear the cars passing by. The opening act was getting ready to play, and so to avoid being drowned out by their great music, we came out. So if you hear the cars going by, that's because Joe and I are standing right outside the Mousetrap Cafe. Joe, thanks so much, and we look forward to hearing the finished product.
Thank you, Steve. Good luck.
Thank you, Joe. You too.
Sometimes there are no words to say. I ask why things turned out this way. Some days I feel so blue, then I think of you. I just can't wait to hold you. I just can't wait to see your smile. smile every day. I'll miss you, for you I'd run 1,000 miles. And I just can't wait to hug you. I just can't wait to see your face. Deep in my heart, I love you. No one will ever take your place. I just can't wait to hug you. I just can't wait to see your face. Deep in my heart, I love you. No one will ever take your place. I know you're so far away. I miss you every day. Because our love will never fade away.
I Just Can't Wait by Joe Mandica and his other album, 1,000 Miles. And I just can't wait for Joe Mandica to come back on the show with Stephanie Angelini when the album with Preston Glass is complete and for us to have a CD listening party. Thank you, Joe. And thus ended my interview with Joe Mandica. I think it's appropriate that we close out this interview session with our pop culture theme song, which just happened to be written by and sung by Mr. Joe Mandica. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Classic pop culture. It's classic pop culture. Hosted by Steve Ludwig and Ludwig. It's classic pop culture. It's classic pop culture.